Ever get that feeling like right before you have to give a big presentation and suddenly your heart's racing and your palms are all sweaty
Oh, yeah.
and it feels like you might just forget everything,
I know it.
Well, it turns out that's actually your brain just kind of saying, hey, this is important.
Right.
So today we're going to be deep diving into anxiety and like not just your everyday jitters,
Mm.
but how it can become like something way more serious,
Mm.
even debilitating.
Absolutely.
So our guide for this deep dive is going to be the work of Nitin Shah.
Okay.
He's a psychologist who specializes in cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy. His
Yeah.
insights are like honestly game changers.
Well, what I think is really fascinating is that anxiety in itself isn't really the bad guy here, you know?
Right.
It's a natural response that we all have, and it's actually crucial for survival.
Okay.
But it's when anxiety becomes this, like, persistent, overwhelming presence in your life that it really crosses that line into a disorder.
So we're talking about anxiety disorders here.
Exactly.
Not just like pre-presentation jitters or first date butterflies.
Not just those little everyday things.
Right.
We're talking about something much bigger.
Okay, so then how do we know? Like, what does an anxiety disorder look like?
Well, that's the thing with anxiety disorders is they can manifest in so many ways.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you get the classic racing heart, you're feeling on edge all the time.
Right.
But did you know that anxiety can also show up as, like, digestive issues, insomnia, or even chronic fatigue?
Really? So it's not always like the stereotypical nervous feeling?
Nope, not at all. It really is a chameleon.
Wow.
It adapts to every single person differently.
So it's not just mental. It can really impact you physically, too.
Absolutely. And that's why understanding the different types of anxiety is so important.
Okay.
You know, Nitin Shah in his guide actually breaks down these types really, really well.
Okay, so let's talk about types then.
Okay, so for example, we've got generalized anxiety disorder,
Okay.
and that's where the worry feels constant. It's all encompassing, almost like this background hum of unease.
Oh, I see.
That's always there.
Yeah.
And then you've got specific phobias.
Right.
Where a particular object or situation triggers intense fear.
Oh, yeah. Like, I was reading about this one case where this person was so afraid of buttons
Oh, wow.
that they couldn't even wear a shirt.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It sounds unbelievable,
Yeah.
but phobias can honestly be that powerful.
Right.
It's like the brain gets stuck in overdrive.
Yep.
And it just perceives a threat where there really isn't one.
And that's where we start to see the real world consequences of this, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
avoiding social situations or job opportunities, even like everyday activities.
Yeah, it can really impact your life in a big way.
It's like anxiety is in the driver's seat making your decisions.
Precisely. And
Oh,
then
gosh.
there are panic attacks.
Right.
These are the sudden, intense bursts of fear
Yeah.
that can feel like you're having a heart attack.
Oh, gosh.
And the physical symptoms alone are terrifying. What kind of symptoms are we talking?
So you get things like dizziness, chest pain, shortness of breath.
Right.
It's like your body is screaming danger,
Yeah.
even though there's no real threat.
It's almost like your internal alarm system is just like short-circuiting.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And then there's OCD, right?
Yes. Speaking of systems,
Okay.
you've got OCD, where intrusive thoughts and compulsive behaviors kind of take over.
Right.
Imagine being plagued by this constant need to wash your hands or check the locks or arrange things just so it can
Yeah.
be exhausting mentally and physically.
So it's more than just being a neat freak.
Much more. It's a real struggle.
Okay, got it.
And then we have things like social anxiety.
Right.
And this isn't just shyness.
Okay.
It's this crippling fear of judgment in social situations.
Yeah.
And this can lead to isolation and missed opportunities.
So it's rough.
It is. And finally, you have PTSD, which is a little bit different.
Right.
This one develops after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event. And this one can manifest as flashbacks, nightmares, this constant sense of danger.
Okay, wow. So there's like a whole spectrum of different experiences of anxiety.
Exactly. It's not just one thing.
Right.
And what's interesting is Nitin Shah actually differentiates between what he calls static and free-floating anxiety.
Okay, I've never heard those terms before. Tell me more about that.
So static anxiety is tied to a specific trigger,
Mm-hmm.
like we see with phobias or panic disorder.
Okay.
And then free-floating anxiety that's more generalized. It's like this pervasive sense of dread, but there's no clear cause.
So it's like knowing your alarm will go off at a certain time
Yes,
versus just feeling like at any moment that alarm could go off.
a perfect way to put it.
I like that. Okay, so how do these different types of anxiety develop?
Well, things get a little bit more complex when we start talking about how they develop.
Okay.
So let's start with static anxiety.
Okay.
Nitin Shah uses what's called the ABC model from cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
It's pretty simple, but it's a powerful framework.
Okay, so break it down for me. ABC, what is that?
So the A stands for the activating event, so the trigger.
Okay.
So let's say you have a fear of dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see a dog.
Right.
That's your activating event.
Got it.
The B stands for beliefs.
Okay.
So these are your thoughts and interpretations about the event.
Mm-hmm.
So in this example, you might think that dog is going to attack me.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then C stands for consequences.
Okay.
So this is your emotional and physical response.
Right.
So that might be feeling panic and running away.
So it's like that event triggers the belief, and then that fuels your anxiety response.
Exactly.
Got it.
Now with free-floating anxiety, it's a little less clear-cut.
Okay.
It likely involves a bunch of different things like genetics, brain chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
past experiences, even other mental health conditions.
So it's not just like a matter of toughening up or thinking positive.
No, not at all.
It's more complicated than that.
Yeah, you can kind of imagine it like a recipe. You might have a genetic predisposition and then add in some stressful life events, maybe a dash of hormonal imbalance, and voila,
Yeah.
you've got the perfect storm for anxiety.
So it's like a puzzle with all these different pieces.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
All this talk about the types of anxiety and how it develops, I have to admit, I'm realizing how much I don't know about anxiety.
Wow, it's a big topic.
It is, so before we jump into like solutions and stuff,
Yeah.
can we just take a second to let all this sink in?
Of course, take a deep breath, everyone.
Yeah.
This is a lot to process.
It is.
And for those of you who are recognizing yourselves in these descriptions, please remember you're not alone.
Right.
Anxiety is incredibly common.
Yeah.
And there are effective solutions out there.
Don't worry, we're not going to leave you hanging with all this anxiety-inducing information.
Not at all.
We're going to be exploring some powerful strategies and therapies in a bit. But first,
Yes.
let's just take a moment to breathe.
What stands out to you so far? What are your initial thoughts and questions?
Yeah. Keep those in mind as we continue our deep dive into the world of anxiety and, more importantly, its solutions.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor.
Welcome back. I hope you had a chance to kind of process everything we've talked about so far about anxiety.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But now let's shift gears and explore the tools and techniques that can help you regain control.
Okay, so let's talk solutions.
Yes.
What can people actually do to manage and overcome their anxiety?
Well, that's where it gets exciting.
Okay.
Because even though anxiety can feel all-consuming,
Right.
there are actually so many effective strategies out there.
That's good to hear.
It's just about finding what works best for you.
Okay.
And Nitin Shah recommends a multifaceted approach,
Okay.
combining self-help strategies with more specialized therapies.
So it's not just like popping a pill or, thinking happy thoughts.
No, not at all.
It's more holistic.
Exactly. And the best part is
Yeah.
you can actually start incorporating some of these techniques right now.
Oh, perfect. Let's hear it. So let's start with mindfulness and meditation,
Okay.
which have become so popular for anxiety management.
For mindfulness, that's just being present in the moment, right?
That's the gist, yeah. But it goes a little deeper than that.
Okay.
It's really about observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment,
Okay.
like you're watching clouds drift by.
I see.
And meditation is a practice that helps cultivate that mindful awareness.
So you're not getting swept away by those anxious thoughts.
Right.
You're just observing them.
Exactly. And the research on this is actually pretty amazing.
Oh, really?
Mindfulness practices can actually reduce your stress hormones.
Oh.
They can calm racing thoughts and improve your overall well-being.
So it's not just some new age trend.
No.
There's science behind it.
Exactly. It's backed by science.
Okay, cool. What about exercise?
Yes.
I know it's good for physical health, but can it really help with anxiety?
Absolutely. Exercise is like magic for both your body and your mind.
Okay.
It releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals, and it also helps reduce muscle tension, which often comes with anxiety.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about feeling good.
That's right. And the best part is,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be strenuous.
Yeah.
Even a brisk walk or dancing can make a difference.
Okay.
Find something you enjoy and make it a regular thing.
So we've got mindfulness meditation exercise.
Yeah.
What else is in this anxiety toolkit?
Well, here's one you can use anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
Deep breathing exercises.
Right.
When you're anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid.
Right.
But by consciously slowing down your breath and taking those deep belly breaths,
Yeah.
you can actually signal to your nervous system that it's time to chill out.
It's like hitting the reset button on that panic mode.
Exactly. And Nitin Shah actually recommends the 4-4-4 breath.
Okay, the 4-4-4 breath, what is that?
You inhale for a count of 4.
Okay.
Hold for 4.
Okay.
Exhale for 4.
Okay, so nice and easy.
Super simple, but so effective.
Okay, so we're calming our minds and bodies.
Sure.
But what about lifestyle changes? Do those play a role?
Absolutely, they're essential.
Okay.
Think about it. If you're constantly running on fumes, sleep deprived, fueled by caffeine and processed foods,
Yeah.
your anxiety is going to have a field day.
So you got to build a solid foundation first.
Exactly. A balanced diet, regular sleep-limiting caffeine and alcohol.
Yeah.
Those are all non-negotiables.
It's like setting yourself up for success
Exactly that.
instead of constantly fighting an uphill battle.
Right. What about social connections?
Ooh, that's a good one. Do those matter?
Well, humans are wired for connection.
Yeah, that's true.
Supportive relationships are crucial for our mental health.
Right.
Sharing your feelings with trusted friends or family,
Yeah.
it can provide such a sense of relief and remind you that you're not alone.
Sometimes just talking it out makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And then there's journaling.
Oh,
This can be a game changer for understanding your anxiety.
okay. How so?
Well, by writing down your thoughts and feelings,
Oh, I don't
you
know.
can start to identify patterns. What triggers your anxiety? What thoughts contribute to your worry?
It's like becoming a detective of your own mind.
Exactly. Now, while these self-help strategies are incredibly helpful,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need more specialized support.
Okay, I see.
And that's where therapeutic approaches come in.
Okay.
And this is where Nitin Shah's work really shines: cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What is it? What makes it so special?
It's this fascinating blend of cognitive therapy,
Okay.
behavioral therapy, and hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy.
Imagine accessing the part of your mind
Okay.
where those deep-seated fears and beliefs reside.
Okay, that sounds intense.
That's what hypnosis allows.
I have to admit, when I hear hypnosis, I picture swinging pendulums and mind control.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, good.
Hypnosis is actually a naturally occurring state
Okay.
of focused attention
Mm-hmm.
and heightened suggestibility.
Okay, I see.
We all experience it to some degree.
Really?
Like when you get lost in a good book or you're so absorbed in a movie that you lose track of time.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
That's a form of hypnosis.
So it's more about tapping into a different state of awareness.
Exactly. And in therapy, hypnosis can be used to access your subconscious mind,
Right.
where a lot of our deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns reside.
Wow. So you can really get to the root of things.
Exactly. And it can be really powerful for addressing the root causes of anxiety.
Okay, so how does it actually work in practice?
So let's say someone has a phobia of spiders.
Okay.
Cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy might involve exploring the origins of that fear,
Right.
perhaps through regression therapy,
Okay.
where you're guided to revisit past experiences that might have contributed to that phobia.
So you're like going back to the source.
Yes, so you're uncovering the root of the problem.
Okay.
And then through hypnotic suggestions and techniques,
Yeah.
you can start to reframe those beliefs and create new, healthier associations with the feared object or situation.
So you're like rewiring your brain.
In a way,
Yes.
to react differently.
And the beauty of cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy
Yeah.
is that it doesn't just rely on hypnosis.
Okay.
It draws on cognitive therapy to help you identify and challenge those negative thought patterns that contribute to anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And it also incorporates behavioral techniques like exposure therapy
Right, yeah.
to gradually desensitize you to those feared situations.
So it's really like this multi-pronged attack.
Exactly. And that's why it's so effective.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, of course,
Yeah.
these techniques should only be used by qualified mental health professionals who have specialized training in cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want just anyone messing around with your subconscious.
Oh, definitely not.
So what about therapists who are interested in learning more about this approach?
Yeah.
Is there a way for them to get expertise in this?
Yes. That's where Nitin Shah's cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy program comes in.
Okay, tell me more.
It's designed specifically for therapists who want to enhance their skills and gain confidence in using this approach with their clients. So this sounds like a fantastic opportunity for therapists to expand their toolkit
Absolutely.
and offer their clients a really cutting-edge approach to managing anxiety.
Exactly.
So what can therapists expect to gain from this program?
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that, like, by tapping into the power of our subconscious minds, we can actually rewire our responses to anxiety.
It is pretty incredible.
This cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy program sounds like it's really giving therapists the keys to unlock some serious transformation in their clients.
It's cutting edge stuff.
Yeah.
And what I think is so great about Newton Shaw's approach is that, he doesn't just throw therapists into the deep end.
Right.
The program provides a very structured and supportive learning environment.
So they're not learning these techniques in isolation.
Right.
They have this community of peers and mentors to kind of guide them along the way.
Exactly. Imagine being able to connect with other therapists who are using these same techniques,
Yeah.
sharing your experiences, learning from each other's successes.
It's like a built-in support system as you're learning and integrating these new tools.
That's a great way to put it, and that's one of the things that really sets this program apart. It's not just about acquiring the knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about fostering that sense of community and shared learning.
I can see how that would be so valuable for therapists.
Yeah,
Especially those who are new to cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy.
absolutely.
Having that support network can make all the difference in building their confidence and really mastering these techniques.
It can be a game changer.
Yeah. So as these therapists gain more experience with these techniques, then they can start to address even more complex cases of anxiety,
Absolutely.
helping clients who may have even struggled with traditional therapies.
It's really exciting to think about the potential impact,
It is.
not just on the therapists themselves, but on all the individuals who are seeking these effective solutions.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We have.
From understanding all those different nuances of anxiety to this really innovative approach of cognitive hypnotic psychotherapy.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And I hope our listeners are feeling inspired and empowered,
Me too.
knowing that there really are solutions available no matter how challenging their anxiety feels.
Absolutely.
So if you're a therapist who's ready to dive into this transformative approach,
Yes.
I highly encourage you to check out the Cognitive Hypnotic Psychotherapy program.
It could change your practice.
And for anyone who's out there struggling with anxiety, remember, you are not alone.
You're not.
There are so many effective therapies and strategies that can help you reclaim your life.
Don't hesitate to reach out for that professional support.
Overcoming anxiety is a journey.
It is.
And like any journey, it's easier when you have the right tools and support.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing all of your insights.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, may you find peace and empowerment on your journey to a calmer, more fulfilling life.
See you next time.